Trending in the AM. We are live today with Nick Faria, Jets reporter, but Eagles fan. Talking all things Eagles compared to the rest of the NFL. We're live in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the all-new STT Sports Network. Guys, I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. Please do me a favor. As we get this new network underway, as we try to build a new network from the ground up, I need each and every one of you to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and please share it out to as many people as possible. If you're watching on any of the old EOP platforms, I'm going to continue to spam the comment sections as I just did with the links to the new STT Sports Network going forward. After today, the only place to catch Trending in the AM and all my content will be on the STT Sports Network on YouTube. So, guys, I'd greatly appreciate it. Again, I'm Phil Stiefel. Find me on all social media platforms at Bearded Knowledge. And joining me today, while he might report and cover the Jets, he's also a massive Eagles fan from Athlon Sports, Nick Faria, at Nick_Faria1720. Good morning, Nick. How you doing today?
Great to be on, Phil. Great to be on.
We got lots happening in the sports world, but, I love getting you on because you're covering the Jets and you're covering a different part of the NFL right now in a year where so much craziness and unexpected stuff is happening in the NFL. A lot of teams are struggling. Surprise teams are performing well. You got teams all over the place with injuries, etc. And Eagles Nation think that they're the only team struggling, the only team not getting out of the gate as quickly as they would have wanted. Looking from afar, even though you pay close attention to the Eagles, looking from afar, do you think Eagles Nation is maybe overreacting a little bit to big picture how this season's gone so far?
I don't think it's a little bit. I just think they're plain overreacting. Because for a team that's 2-2, they had an impressive victory against the Green Bay Packers, a playoff team from last season, a team that looks just as good this year, even though they're 2-2. You had an impressive win there. You have an impressive comeback victory over the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, a crushing loss to the Atlanta Falcons, where the defense gives up in the prevent, final seconds to Kirk Cousins. You get blown out the door in Tampa Bay. All those things coming together. But I would ask Eagle fans everywhere, which team in the NFL right now looks like a dominant roster? And I think the only literal answers we can give at this moment are the Kansas City Chiefs, who have not looked good in their 4-0 start. They are 4-0, but it's a very 2023 Eagles 4-0, where games are one scores. They're finding ways to win late in contests. That they're not really impressive. The Buffalo Bills, who at one point were 3-0, got the doors blown off them in Baltimore. Baltimore is only 2-2. They've struggled to start the season as well. You've got the Bengals at 1-3. I'm trying to think of everyone else. The Cowboys are 2-2. They haven't looked exactly like world beaters to this point. The NFC South is wide open. The West is wide open. The Seahawks have struggled recently as well. Really, the only dominant teams that I look at right now are the Minnesota Vikings with Sam Darnold as the quarterback.
I did laugh when you mentioned them too.
The Detroit Lions, who by and large look good, but they also have a blunder on their record. They can't stop the pass. And then in the AFC side, it's completely wide open. There is no dominant team. Like the Texans have looked miserable over the week. So there is not one team right now that is dominating. And I have spoken to many people, both inside organizations and out. There is a common misconception between fans and NFL personnel. With the way the practice schedule is now, with the way preseason games are, the first month of the regular season, not that it doesn't matter, but quite frankly, it's not as important as it used to be. Starting out fast is not the important thing it used to be. What you want to do is you want to tread water at the beginning of the year. Tread water, find out who you are, find out what works, and then once the games start actually mattering, you come out in full force. And that's kind of what the 2021 Eagles did. When Jalen Hurts was having his first year as a starting quarterback, Nick Sirianni in his debut. They started slow. It was 2-5. Everyone's wondering if he's going to be a one-and-done coach. But then it was, okay, we got what we need to be. We know what we want to do. Now let's hit our stride. And I think for Philadelphia, unlike many other teams in the National Football League, their bye week is coming at a perfect time. They're not playing their best football. No one will tell you they're playing their best football. But no one is. No one is. So you need to be in a position after this bye to come out looking strong, or at least knowing what your identity is. You don't want your identity shown in week 2 or week 4. You want it shown later on in the season, midway point, right around this point in October and into November.
You know, talking about all that, because I want to jump back to the Chiefs in a second, but Nick Sirianni pretty much just said to an extent to the Eagles, it's the preseason doesn't matter. These first 4 weeks, he's like, this is not college. The season's not over after 4 weeks. You lose 2 games, it's not over. But you mentioned the Chiefs and how they don't look good. Like, Eagles Nation complains nonstop about ugly wins. Okay, last year all those ugly wins don't count. Do you think Chiefs Nation is complaining about their 4-0 start, even though they don't look pretty? It bothers me that there's just this preconception that a win doesn't matter when it's not a pretty win.
That's how, and again, I'm not going to blame the fans specifically for the collapse last season, because the players had a point to it.
Absolutely.
But this notion, and it happened all year. I remember it happened all year. No win was good enough for this fan base. People were calling for Sirianni's head. People were calling for Brian Johnson's head, Sean Desai's head. And that kind of turmoil, that kind of just incessant bitching and moaning just can seep into a clubhouse, because they have to hear it all the time. And at some point, Eagle fans need to take a hard look at themselves. They need to take a hard look at themselves. I am one of every season is not going to be 2017 or 2022 when you are playing an objectively weak schedule and you're blowing teams out the door. Those don't happen in the NFL. For other contending teams, it doesn't happen that way. Most NFL games are one scores. Most NFL games are, hey, let's find a way to win. We'll find a way to win, and we'll keep pounding, and we'll just try and do what we need to do in key moments. Almost every other fan base understands that. But I truly feel that the Super Bowl win against New England changed the outlook of Philadelphia sports, where every game must be exactly how I see it. Every game must be exactly what I want. The quarterback must throw for 500 yards. The running back must run for 100 yards. And the run defense gets completely obliterated, completely dominant, and the defense gives up 10 points. That is not realistic in any sense of the imagination. I think Eagle fans right now are living in fairy tale land, thinking that these games need to be blowouts and they need to look good at all points. No quarterback right now looks like a world beater. The only one that really does is Sam Darnold. It's the only one. Sam Darnold's the only one. And
how much can you really believe that that's going to hold up all year long? You know what I mean? We've seen enough Sam Darnold to know that that's not who he is. Duck asking, he does not cover for the Jets for the Metro anymore. It's for Athlon Sports. He is still covering the Jets, though. TMZ, you're coming in late here. It's Nick Faria, Eagle or Jets reporter. You talk about identity and getting that identity going. I'm sure, even though you're covering the Jets, you see all the optic issues with this Eagles team over the last week or so. Darius Slay, most specifically. Do you think? The fans' negativity can seep into the locker room, but do you think some of those things that you're seeing, the chirping from the players, the I mean, honestly, let's just be honest. Going on Micah Parsons' podcast, that wouldn't have been acceptable 20, 25 years ago on his MySpace page or something. You know, is that something that you fear could cause a problem going forward in a locker room that's already on edge to begin with?
And so from the things that I've heard, they're not really on edge per se. And I want to stress that the locker room is pretty solid. And the one constant I've heard is it's week 4. No one's pointing fingers because, quite frankly, it's early in the season. We're trying to figure out who we are as a team. And I will say, objectively, Darius Slay should not have gone on Micah Parsons' podcast. I don't think anyone would argue he should have done that.
It was so bad.
But the modern NFL player, though, and the modern sports athlete, it's not just football. This killer instinct of I need to destroy my opponent, and this is my division rival, and this is my rival, and I'm going to beat the crap out of him. That doesn't exist anymore. It just doesn't. And the sooner fans recognize that it doesn't exist, the sooner everyone's going to realize that a lot of these little bits and pieces, these little sound bites, and oh my God, Slay went on the podcast and talked about what a good person C.J. Gardner-Johnson is, but they laughed about Micah Parsons making a joke at Gardner-Johnson's expense. This doesn't matter. Like, it's not going to matter because at the end of the day, Darius Slay, listen, he had a bad game against Tampa, had a really bad game against Tampa. A lot of it, I think, has to do with Vic Fangio, but he's been pretty solid to start the season. I don't think he's been totally bad. Quinyon Mitchell's been really good. The secondary, to me, the only problem is their strategy base is a problem. The players themselves, I think, have been fine.
Okay. So you're putting the issue more on the coaching, like the game planning, than the players. I mean, Marshawn's asking about, because Fangio was talking about tackling techniques this week in his press conference. And you see on the field that because Mike Evans was mic'd up, Darius Slay, Avonte Maddox, they're too friendly with the opponents on the field, where Quinyon Mitchell is still got that, rookie dog in him where he's still like got that little bit of an edge.
Terrific.
Yeah, Quinyon Mitchell, I said it before training camp that Quinyon Mitchell was going to end the season as the best cornerback on the Eagles, and I think it's already the case. Do you think that, there's too much made of these players being too friendly with their opponents?
Yes.
Like,
oh my God.
Yeah. It's not like it's not 1990 anymore. It's not the Buddy Ryan era anymore. They're not trying to rip each other's head off anymore.
Philly fans, and this is gone back from the 1960s. Philly fans want the Chuck Bednarik. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Bednarik has a great quote talking about how he transitioned from center to linebacker in the late 50s when he was playing both sides. And he goes, you're frothing from the mouth. And it doesn't matter who you're going to get. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. That's not the mindset anymore. And Philly fans specifically need to recognize that that's not the mindset. You can't hammer home a thought process, and this is how I want my players to play, when there are no players playing like that anymore. This is part of my frustration with how the season has gone. The Eagles are not bad. They have not looked bad. They have looked mediocre. I think mediocre is a perfectly fine way to put it. And you're looking at 26 to 27 teams who have looked mediocre. Yeah. There are no barn burners in this league right now. And to think that Darius Slay's his relationship with Micah Parsons is a downward spiral for the locker room, I think is just Philly media trying to talk up something that isn't there, which happens at an alarming rate. Let me just put that out there. Darius Slay going on Micah Parsons' podcast, I don't like it, but it's not the end of the world. Other players talking about, coming after a tough game and putting out their career stats like Slay did. It's out there, Phil. I think we can all agree Philadelphia is at the top of the list. When you come home and on Twitter and say Darius Slay sucks, and you see it 5,000 times, and everyone's complaining about Darius Slay, what do we think is going to happen? What do we think is actually going to happen? Slay is not this kind of guy that's just going to sit back and look at it. This is the player who he has been in Detroit. And by the way, for those that say, I want Darius Slay off my team, do we need to remember the 2019 and 2018 and 2012 and 2015, all those miserable defenses where they couldn't find a cornerback, Slay comes in and stabilizes the entire position group. He has been an exemplary cornerback for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's high time we recognize, and it's high time we realize that Slay, the lockdown corner, is not the same as, is not the kind of person that Eagle fans may have been accepting of when it was Sheldon Brown and Lito Shepherd and those guys. They're different players, and it's wrong to just hammer Darius Slay and say, you need to be like them. He's not that.
You used the word a few minutes ago, relationships. And I think it's a great way to segue to the other topic that keeps coming up with the Eagles, and that's Jalen Hurts' relationship with Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts' struggles on the field. And it's interesting because also being the fact that you cover the Jets, I saw some things coming out in the last week or so, maybe with Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh. Maybe they're not seeing eye to eye so much there. What do you make of the Jalen Hurts season so far, but also the questionable relationship that he has with his head coach? Is it sustainable where Jalen Hurts never gets Nick Sirianni's back in the media, but Nick Sirianni's always taking Jalen Hurts' back in the media?
I think again, kind of the same thing.
I love how my questions make you smile so much.
It's kind of the same thing as Darius Slay.
Yeah.
We have seen Jalen Hurts now for 4 years. We have seen how he responds, both positive and negative. And when you are the same person in wins or loss, and again, I think this is the misconception of Eagle fans. When Donovan McNabb was the quarterback, everyone wanted a more mature signal caller, a guy that can win the big games, that can move outside the pocket, but mature overall. Well, then they brought in Kevin Kolb, and then he was quickly replaced by Michael Vick. And Michael Vick had all these great relationships with Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin and LaShawn McCoy and all these great things that happened. And then what are Eagle fans complaining about? Well, we need a pocket passer. We need a guy that can step up in the pocket and read a defense. So then we brought in Nick Foles, but Nick Foles wasn't healthy enough. We needed a top-tier prospect. So they bring in Carson Wentz. And then Carson Wentz, we know everything that happens there. And then it's, well, no, wait a minute. His back injury, his ACL injury, he's become it's just standing in the pocket, getting hit consistently. We need a guy that can make plays with his feet again, but also win from the pocket. And now it's Jalen Hurts. And now we get a quarterback who is tailor-made for Philadelphia. He gives the same answer every single time. He's not going to bite into the sound bites of media and try to complain about here and there and yell at different reporters. He's not going to do that. He's not going to get too high after a loss. He's not going to get too low after a loss. And Eagle fans are still not happy because they want a guy who's going to get fiery and the Tom Brady mode where he's going to yell at players and yell at himself and not take accountability and everything else. Eagle fans have no idea what they want in a quarterback. They have no idea what they want in a quarterback. They don't know what they want from a signal caller. They want wins, and that's the only thing that matters. But to show this hypocrisy, you need to win by X amount of games, by X amount of scores, because Jalen Hurts started last season 10-1. And the only thing Eagle fans are talking about is why the quarterback struggled consistently. Even though they were finding ways to win, and Jalen Hurts was a key part of that, that was the problem. And I see this comment here from Martian. We want a quarterback who doesn't throw turnovers. Well, that's perfectly fine. Jalen Hurts has turned the ball over a lot. Are we going to acknowledge that having an offensive system that they know consistently can actually change what a quarterback does? Can we acknowledge the fact that he is in a brand new offensive system, learning this system and going through the ropes? Too much was made about this interception-less streak in the training camp. It was never going to be that way. Everyone you spoke to, every major analyst said that this was going to take a little bit of time for Jalen Hurts to get acclimated to the Kellen Moore system. So again, I ask, what do you want in a quarterback? Because he was 10-1 last season. He has a winning record, and he's been consistently winning since 2021. And it's still not good enough for Eagle fans because they need a guy that is playing like Patrick Mahomes every second of the day. Even though Patrick Mahomes, by the way, second in the league in turnovers.
I've pointed it out because I'm a guy that's come on this show every day. It doesn't matter if I say we're going to talk about the Flyers today, the Philadelphia Union, the election. I can bring up any topic. Every show devolves into me defending Jalen Hurts for some way. And you're a Jets reporter. You see Josh Allen. Compare Josh Allen's turnover numbers over the last couple of years to Jalen Hurts. They're actually more. Trevor Lawrence getting paid more money than Jalen Hurts. More turnovers. It's like Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's not turned the ball over, but he's not. I mean, he put up 9 points last week. Was it 9, 8 points, 9 points, whatever it was against the Broncos? What?
Josh Allen put up 10. Aaron Rodgers put up 9.
Exactly. So it's like, is New York calling for Aaron Rodgers to be benched or to be cut or calling him a bum or whatever? Well, maybe there's some doing that, but nobody in Buffalo is saying let's replace Josh Allen right now. So the thing is, like, it's hard to convince fans that winning matters. How you get to that win doesn't matter.
But this is my point. I mean, you're getting all these comments. You're making excuses for Hurts.
Yeah. I get told it 30, 40 times every single show, even if he's not the topic of the day.
They're 2-2. They're not 1-3, like Joe Burrow is.
Yeah.
They're not 0-4.
Yeah.
We want to talk about, I would kill for Joe Burrow. He's better in the pocket. He can win. Why don't we look at the actual records over the last few years and say who's been the better quarterback overall because he's been on the field more? Again, there's way too much inconsistency here. Eagle fans want to be upset about everything. And they just want to be upset about everything. When something's not going right, someone needs to be blamed. And there is a penchant for when things are not going right to blame the quarterback and to blame the head coach, and they must be replaced. I'm going to cue everyone in here. Nick Sirianni has his faults. He's going to have to figure out this game management problem because it is a problem. He's getting in the way. He got in the way against New Orleans when that should have been at least a 2-score game. To sit here and assume that Jalen Hurts is a big problem or is a bad leader or everything else, no one's saying that the turnovers are fine. He needs to cut down on the turnovers. But he's in a new offensive system. This is what happens when you're in a new offensive system. Eagle fans, they watch Eagle games, and then they essentially just turn off the TV. They just turn it off, and they don't watch what's going on around the NFL. Aaron Rodgers has plenty of turnover-worthy plays. Patrick Mahomes is second on that list right now. There are plenty of great quarterbacks that have struggled to start the season. Can we please just calm the hell down? I told Jet fans this, after the Broncos loss. And I said point blank, I thought the Broncos loss was bad. The Eagles loss was bad. They're pretty much the same exact way. We have to acknowledge that when the going gets tough, and in big games specifically, for the most part, Jalen Hurts has stepped up. Kansas City Chiefs last year, Buffalo Bills last year. He stepped up. He stepped up in 2022. That Super Bowl, he was carrying that team. He was carrying that team. He also, mind you, had a game-winning drive against the New Orleans Saints. And we need to acknowledge that a quarterback is not going 17-0. It's not. And we need to acknowledge that most quarterbacks in the NFL are going to struggle some games.
Yeah.
So I think people really need to take a hard look at what they want in a quarterback and recognize that you are doing this for the 15th time in 20 years, where the quarterback you have is not good enough for you for X reason. You did it with Carson Wentz. You did it with Nick Foles. The first time specifically you did it with Nick Foles because there were plenty of people that wanted him out. You did it with Michael Vick. You did it with Donovan McNabb. At what point do we sit here and realize, you know what? Maybe this is the right guy for Philadelphia. Maybe this is the right guy to help get us to a championship. We just need to actually throw support instead of booing our teams left and right. You've got the Phillies right now who are in a playoff series. And in Phillies fans have given standing ovations to their players when they are struggling. That's happened multiple times. But when it comes to the Eagles, we can't do that. There's only 17 games. We have to expect perfection every single game.
That's not true. Did you miss it last year that there was a podcast group that went outside the NovaCare complex after a bad James Bradbury game, and they even got like food trucks out there, and they did the pounding for support for James Bradbury. So there's a rare occasion when someone like Talking 2 and 5 and Jake gets involved. Real quick, before I got to get you out of here, obviously we're trying to put a positive spin here as we get into the bye week, but there are obviously issues with the team. If you had to pick one or two things that should be the focus this bye week and going into next week when we face the Browns, that the Eagles should be working on to turn the narrative around to make the fans happy, to turn that narrative around, what would be that one or two things you want to see the Eagles do that could change that narrative?
It's getting back to Kellen Moore's offense. Because I agree. I've seen some
I
comments.
wrote that down right here for later.
You got to get back to Kellen Moore's offense. And defensively, it's pretty simple. Tackle the ball carrier. Tackle the ball carrier. Just secure the tackle, bring him down, go get off the field on third down. It's as simple as that. Go back to the basics there. But on offense, in that win against Green Bay, we saw an offense outside of the 2 turnovers early. Mm-hmm. They looked really good. Like that offense was humming for most of that game. The Packers couldn't stop them. And it was because they were using motion in a definitive way. They were trying to move defenses' eyes. They weren't just doing motion to say, hey, we're doing motion. Mm-hmm. It seems like they went back to 2020, 2023 offensive skill sets because they were concerned of A.J. Brown not being here. And they wanted to get it back and sort of get back to the basics because you have Jahan Dotson, who's been in this offense for the better part of just a single month. He needs more time. So getting back to Kellen Moore's offense, getting back to his principles, I think changes a lot. You're going to have a great test against the Cleveland Browns. You're going to have a great test against the Giants. They should be able to win both games. And I have a prediction that they'll win both games and fans still will not be happy. So the
prediction is that we won't be happy, not that they'll win both games.
Win or lose, everyone's going to be upset because Jalen Hurts only threw for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns and they won by 10, but he needs to throw the ball more. They can't just be a running team. It's just we need to figure out as a fan base what we want in this team because we treat the Phillies as a team that, hey, you're struggling. Let's give you guys some support. Let's give you guys some support. Try a positive spin on this. But when it comes to the Eagles, oh boy, you have one bad game and everyone wants you out of town. They're burning you at the stake. Please, let's be grown-ups here.
Guys, we're talking with Nick Faria here, Athlon Sports Jets reporter. Any chance that we're going to have an Eagles-Jets Super Bowl so we could do a week's worth of shows, me and you?
Listen, if it's an Eagles-Jets Super Bowl, I'll see you in where's the Super Bowl this year? New Orleans? I'll see you in New Orleans.
We'll be in New Orleans together doing this every single day. That would be right.
I'll tell you what, it's something Jet fans ask me a lot about. They're like, listen, we're taking you into our fandom. We love you as a reporter. And I said, no. I appreciate it. I have my team. Thank you. I'm good with where I stand. And they're like, well, if it's Eagles-Jets, he goes, if the Jets are in the Super Bowl, will you root for us? I'd say, I will support you against, 15 other teams if you're in the Super Bowl. But if you're playing the Eagles, I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
It's got to be tough as a beat reporter when you move from city to city, but you got your allegiance in another city. It's got to be tough for you to keep that unbiased, or you're supposed to toe that line. You know what I mean?
That's why I love reporting specifically for the Jets because, listen, I'm a football historian. I can go back to the 1930s when it comes to the Eagles history. And, of course, I'm a diehard fan because that's just what I have been growing up. And when we have a situation like that, and when you are a diehard fan of a team, you're able to look at a different roster, not with rose-colored glasses, not with an agenda of, I want this player to look good and this player to look good and this and this and this. You're able to look at it from a clearly unbiased perspective. And I think that's why a lot of Jet fans actually support the work that I do and essentially saying, hey, we all – and Jet fans actually, there's a few of them that are like, wait a minute, you're not even a Jets fan and you're covering the team. What the hell? We're not going to listen to you. But a lot of Jet fans say, actually, we appreciate that Nick's an Eagles fan talking about the Jets because we're getting it from a perspective that isn't just either a fanboy or a hater. And I think that's very important when you're reporting officially and professionally in a setting like this.
All right, real quick, you got to get out of here. But I probably asked you this in the past, but they want to know Goodfellas or Godfather?
It's Godfather.
There's a lot of bets going on in the chat on this one.
Godfather all the way. All the way. Give me Marlon Brando every day of the week.
There you go. Guys, it's Nick Faria right here. Make sure you guys shoot him a follow over on social media. It's not just Jets, it's Eagles, it's everything, guys. Nick, thank you much for your time this weekend. And hey, you helped us get to the weekend. It was a team effort here.
Best way to do it.
That's right. Nick Faria, guys. Have a great day, my man. Thanks. Guys, that was Nick Faria on the I Have No Sponsor hotline because I don't have a sponsors anymore because we are just rolling solo now on the STT Sports Network. Guys, I didn't do much of an intro. I did not do much of a quote-unquote cold opening. But again, yes, please, if you're watching anywhere but the STT Sports Network, click the link I just put in the chat and subscribe to the STT Sports Network. Mista, I saw you say that there was no notification. You got to hit the bell. There's a bell on the page next to the subscribe button. That bell turns notifications on. That's how you get the notification of where and when I'm going live. Please do that. There are so many comments that came in throughout that interview, but Nick's a fantastic guy. We are going to continue talking Eagles. We're going to go through my NFL predictions for week 5. We will, at the close of the show, give some predictions for the Phillies Mets, because it is the Mets. As you can see, Muck the Fets in the bottom of the screen there. Let me just see if there's anything right away here. Boo the players when they're bad. Yep, that's me too. The head coach takes over in portions of the game. Yes, you can. And that's one of my keys, or one of my things to fix to this team, going next week, is just let Kellen Moore actually do what you say, Anthony, and drive the bus. Slay is as bad at social media as a cornerback. Probably AOL. I don't know. It ain't Goodfellas. I got it. He said good. We all knew he was going to say Godfather. We all knew it. This guy is a Jet. He's not a Jets fan. He's a Jets reporter, but an Eagles fan. There's a difference there. A lot of beat reporters are not fans of the teams they cover. They're fans of other teams, like a Chris Franklin. He covers the Eagles for PSN, and he's a Mets fan. You know what I mean? You take the job where you can take the job. The Jets haven't been good either this year. Exactly. You sure about that? Yeah, I am. I am pretty sure about that. Eagles, my NFC team. Yeah, Eagles. It's got to be Eagles, Bills for us against TMC, or it's got to be Eagles, Jets against me and Faria here for the Super Bowl week. We did last year, and that was Zach Wilson. Let's just fire through some of these. Let's get caught up here. I can go back to the 1800s with football knowledge. Who invented football? My man, Nick. Nick's a great guy. Nick is a great follow and a great guy right there. A lot of money in that way. Oh, my goodness gracious. And there it is in the chat, guys. If you're watching this show anywhere but the STT YouTube page or my personal Twitter page, I'd greatly appreciate you guys clicking the link that I put in the chat. It'll get you to my YouTube page. It'll get you subscribed. That is the place going forward. This is it. This is the last show on the EOP YouTube page. It'll probably run for a few more weeks on the EOP Facebook page, but this is the last show on the EOP YouTube page for Training the AM. It's a brief 6-month stay here on the EOP YouTube page, but it's time. We're up to 129 subscribers, Mitchie Poo. I will admit, Jalen Hurts struggles. If you get me to 200 subscribers by the end of the day, Mitchie Poo, just so you know. But it takes everybody to get this new channel up and going. It takes each and every one of you to get this going. A lot of comments. I'm going to start talking a little bit more. So hopefully your comments continue to roll in here, and I can address some of the things you guys said while Nick was talking there. Fill in EOP contract. No, not my contract negotiations. The contract negotiations amongst themselves. Nick tried to gaslight the chat, but we not buying that shit. Like, I didn't agree 100% with everything that Nick said. He was a little too positive for my liking. I like that he's positive, but that was a little too positive. I did not want Jalen money because I don't want the pressure of the Jalen money on my side of the thing. So anyway, I wrote down a few things that I thought would be bold ways and some realistic ways to fix the Eagles next week. And I think, Nick tried to, go over it a little bit with the struggles of Darius Slay and his optics in the media and some of the things going on. He tried to say the cornerback play in the secondary wasn't as bad, that it was more the system and learning the system, putting them in the right places, etc. But here's something I want to bring up to you guys. And this is an interesting thing here. We got to make a statement, right? Not we, the fans. The team needs to make a statement. The coaches need to get a statement to this team that it won't be acceptable how they're acting on and off the field. Because there's this issue right now that there's no discipline, there's no leadership. So Darius Slay's obviously been a issue off the field, at least with the fans. And Nick says it's not as bad in the locker room as we think it is. I don't know if I fully agree with that. But we already saw them bench Jalen Carter for a drive for being late to a meeting. Would it make a difference? Would it send a statement to this team that it's unacceptable to perform the way they are on and off the field if they bench Darius Slay for a game, a half of a football game, throw Isaiah Rodgers out there or Keely Ringo out there? Just make a statement. Deshaun Watson and the Browns aren't going to throw all over you. Bench Darius Slay. Would that send a statement to the Eagles locker room by benching a captain that isn't leading by example? Is that something that could turn the momentum around? Or would maybe that idea fractures the team even more? Maybe it does the opposite of what I think. But that would be something that I would consider that could change the momentum maybe of the team. It might have a negative effect too, though. Got to give David Archerry a Dear John letter. Yeah. David Archerry. Bye-bye. Nick is an old school reporter, even reporting with good analysis. No fanboying, just calm. Yeah, look, I've always been a fan. I met Nick when I was with PSN, and I've had Nick on this show countless times. He's a fantastic, smart guy, well-articulated man. Muck the Fets would make a dope-ass shirt. What's up, Peanut? How you doing, my main man? My only caveat is that you are not going to find a better quarterback than Hurts. Yeah, you're not going to improve on Hurts at this point. Didn't Andy bench McNabb when he turned his season around? Then he turned his season around in 2008. Marshawn, I'm trying to think about that. I think you're right. Now, for some reason, I got to write that down and look it up. 2008 bench. Yeah, I think you're right on that. I forget. It was 1 year. I don't know if it was 2008 or something like that. If you bench Carter, no one will notice. They already benched Carter for a drive. I'm all about benching Slay and any veteran that ain't all in. So I'd be benching Maddox or Slay for a drive, a half of football. I'd be benching Avonte Maddox, period, for the rest of the season. What Avonte Maddox is doing, Peanut, is nothing. So you put Cooper DeJean out there, let him get his licks in, learn on the fly. It's not going to be worse than what we're already seeing. I would take Devin White and just outright cut him. Send a statement. Slay, Maddox, White. 2 of them are benched. 1's cut. No more of these problems. And either A, it's going to completely break the locker room, or B, it sends a message that, hey, nobody is safe here. We all have to be better. Maybe that sends a message to Carter and Davis to be better. Maybe that tells Bryce Huff, I got to step up my game. Nolan Smith, I got to step up my game. Ooh, that's a tough one, Mitchie Poo. That's a tough one. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Bench Hurts too. That's a bigger signal. You know, Marshawn, it's funny you say this. And look, I'm not benching Jalen Hurts, but I remember back during the Brett Brown Sixers era. I bring this one game up. I don't even remember what game it was. It was a random middle of the season game. And Ben Simmons had 9 turnovers in the first half of the game. It was in one of those points where the Sixers were having struggles, just like the Eagles are right now, where they're just not looking like they should with the talent on the team. It was probably, I think it was the year before Jimmy Butler. Or maybe it was the Jimmy Butler year. And I said, bench Ben Simmons for the second half to send a statement that he has to be better. And it'll either fix Ben Simmons or it won't. It'll fix the team or it won't. But you make a statement. And they didn't. And he went on to have like 4 or 5 more turnovers. We lost that game. Now, I don't think you bench Jalen Hurts before a game because of the turnover issue, but you make a statement to Jalen Hurts that he's got to be better before the game. And if he has a game with 3 turnovers in the first half, yeah, you say, Jalen, you're sitting the bench the second half because this is not acceptable. You're still our guy going forward, but you have to sit because everybody has to be held accountable from the top on down. I don't like the idea because I still think we can win and whatnot with him, but it would make that statement. Chat loves Nick apologizers. Yeah. The problem is that our young players act like young players. The problem is many of our older players, like Slay and White, act like the fool. There's only one veteran player that's really leading right now, and that's Brandon Graham. Remember the McKeisters. We like to call them the McKeisters. I think it was either after the Ravens or Bengals game. I got to dig deep. I don't remember exactly, but I know what you're talking about, Marshall. I just don't remember the exact moment. Bench him for a half or when shit is already bad. Actions have I agree. And so I want to say that I agree with you on it, only because if I didn't, I'd be contradicting myself, because that's what I wanted out of Ben Simmons that one time, Marshawn. So you know what? That's what it is. Great. Now I'm having Benson. I know. Sorry. I didn't mean to bring. I was using it as an example. I apologize. You can still claim Dean Cain from the Panthers. Nobody wants Dean Cain. McKeister's not good. Manipulate the player's emotions to get better results. I don't know if it will work. Yeah, I missed it. I mean, it is a risk benching players, veteran captain players, to make a statement. It is a risk. Benching Jalen Carter, second year player, you know what? He's got to learn to be better. But benching veteran leaders, that could make things worse. Not going to lie. But it could send a statement, maybe. I don't know. It could either boom or bust the team. For those that want Nick Sirianni fired, if he does it and it backfires, it'll give you, if they bench Ben or Jalen Hurts and it backfires, you get your wish and Nick Sirianni's fired. Brandon Graham is the leader we need, and we are losing him. I don't know if we're losing him, Duck. Brandon Graham said about a week or so ago that he was considering sticking around for another year, that he's playing better than he thought, that maybe he doesn't have to retire at the end of the season. Just saying. Just don't tell me the fans can't bitch. I agree. It's our right as a fan to complain, moan and groan, show emotions. People always crush me on Twitter when I overreact in the heat of the moment of something. Look, I'm a fan. I'm not a media credentialed guy. I'm not a reporter. I'm a fan with a platform, just a smaller platform now. So, guys, please find the STT Sports Network YouTube page and hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok and Instagram, guys. I'd greatly appreciate it. 4 games in, and we are already calling for the coach's head, benching vets, and K1 bringing up McKee. I'm going to be, it's already been a long season. But all this problems creates great content, Peanut. It does. It says Reed made the call to bench McNabb in 08 at halftime, and Pat Shurmur told McNabb. There you go. That's the thank you to Adam for digging up the deep details there. Of course, Kyle Lowry. The McKeister stinks. Also, with new systems being put in place, the starters should have at least played a half of the. Yeah, that's Anthony. You're right. That should be on. That's on Nick Sirianni. That's 100% on Nick Sirianni there, Anthony. Sorry, there's a lot of Anthonys that comment on this show. It's a very common name on this show. Chiphead players compete for their starting jobs. Yeah, he did. Chip. Ugh. If Phil can resurrect the memory of Ben Simmons, then I reserve the right to bring up Tanner McKee. That's fair. That's right. Did anybody? Hold on, we'll get to that in a second. Did anybody see Bridges' new shot technique in New York in training camp for the Knicks? It looks like Ben Simmons was coaching Bridges on how to shoot a basketball. It looks awful. Just gonna say it. We can bitch and complain all we want, but we also have to called when we are acting like children throwing a tantrum. It's fair. It depends on if it's in the moment or after the moment, too. Yeah. Don't tell me to calm down. That would be a good bye tour, as long as the Rolling Stones have been on for the last 5 years. Yeah. Anyway, so they're one of the things. Benching Darius Slay, benching Avonte Maddox, cutting Devin White, maybe even Isaiah Rodgers. And the other big key is putting your players in a position to succeed. We've all seen the Brian Baldinger film breakdown of Bryce Huff from last year to this year. Why isn't he in a 4-point stance more? I saw from Sheila Kapadia, the Eagles are 30th in the NFL with their quarterback under center. They've only run 23 plays in 4 weeks under center. Only 6 of them play action. That's not putting your players in a position to succeed. That also is proof that Nick Sirianni is too heavily involved in the offense. Somebody yesterday, I think it was Marshawn yesterday. I didn't get to the question yesterday. We ran out of time about the fact that we run motion at the wrong times. Or we run lazy motion, I think you said, Marshawn. I'm paraphrasing, but you said something along like lazy motion. It's not actually effective motion. That's, again, Kellen Moore not getting the full control he deserves and needs. I know Phil's scared of the Mets. I am slightly concerned with the Mets. We'll talk a little Phillies here in a minute. I want to talk a little Phillies Mets, and we'll get into all my NFL predictions. It's got to be better than last week. I was terrible on my picks last week. The eyes, they never lie, Chico. Chico Reza Ramon. Chico. Why Rodgers having issues? I don't know why Rodgers having issues. I haven't paid attention to the Jets. I just love to see Rodgers having issues. You bench Slay, you sell White, and you push Maddox to the practice squad. Does that send a statement? At least Vic. See, the thing is, Vic Fangio seems to have all this control. And Vic Fangio seems to have no problem calling out the younger players on the team. But we haven't seen Vic Fangio stand up to a single veteran yet. He hasn't. We'll bench Jalen Carter, but we won't bench Slay. We'll call out Bryce Huff, but we won't say anything about Josh Sweat. There's this double standard from Vic Fangio at this point. And it's something concerning to me. But what harm? If you roll out on Sunday next week against Cleveland, a secondary of Quinyon, Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and either Isaiah Rodgers or Keely Ringo, is it going to be any worse? No. Cutting Devin White, what's that going to do? He hasn't played a game yet for the Eagles. And all he does is chirp about the other team. Sends a statement. A statement. They were jogging to the spot. It makes no sense to run motion. Yeah, you brought that up, and when you did, there were so many questions and comments, and when I get guests on, I got a time limit with each guest, you know what I mean? So I couldn't get to every single one of them, Marshawn. But I noticed that because, you know what? We're supposed to be running all this motion. Yet I don't notice motion because they're not running to the spot. They're jogging to the spot. Where are, Marshawn, the plays where I don't even know the technical term, where the wide receiver goes in motion and runs behind the quarterback like he's going to catch the ball out of the backfield? Where's something like that? Dallas Goedert sliding from the left side of the line to the right side and just trotting over there. That's not putting any pressure on the defense. Going from the outside to the slot, just taking 4 steps to the right. That's not putting pressure on the defense. That's what we want. That's what we were told to expect. That's not what we're getting. And I think I don't know if it's Kellen Moore not doing it right or if it's Nick Sirianni battling with Kellen Moore on what to do. Trade Slay, bench Maddox, and grow your own young DBs. Todd, first and foremost, great question or comment. Make sure you subscribe to the STT YouTube page, which I put in the comments section and the description of this because we're leaving the EOP brand, and I would love everybody to continue following me to STT Sports Network. I don't think you can trade Darius Slay at this point. You couldn't. You could bench him for a half. You definitely have to bench Maddox. If Maddox starts next Sunday against Cleveland instead of Cooper DeJean, I'll be calling for Vic Fangio's head on this show. I will. What about Hurts, Duck? What about Hurts? You can't bench him to start a game, I don't think. But I think, Marshawn, if he comes out and has a bad start to a game, and not like a 2-play, like a first drive because you go 3 and out, like a bad half of football, maybe you do try to make a statement. Maybe. The players don't understand when fans boo. They're just letting out all their frustrations. Absolutely. I think as fans, we're allowed to vent as much as we want, especially in the heat of the moment. Okay? We're not going to a restaurant and seeing Darius Slay having dinner with his wonderful wife, booing him from across the restaurant. We're booing them on the field. And I think it's in our right to do that. I do. Isaiah Rodgers, I don't know what's going on with Isaiah Rodgers. Yeah, Kirk Cousins over 500 yards passing. I'm surprised Mitchie Poo hasn't said Kirk Cousins is greater than Jalen Hurts. I mean, no offense. I know I don't criticize Jalen Hurts much, But we made that Bucks secondary look pretty good last week. And Kirk Cousins goes out there and throws 500 yards on that Bucks secondary. What in the holy hell are we doing here, people? We don't really run that much motion relative to the rest of the league. We were supposed to be. Is what I'm describing a jet sweep? Okay, gotcha. A jet sweep. Where are the jet sweeps? I thought that was a Kellen Moore staple. Just more than last season. Exactly. Is it in slow motion? Something like that. Locomotion. There we go. We're up to 130. Okay, so we've gained 1 subscriber today since we've been live here in the last 50 minutes. Guys, please, if you haven't clicked it, I'm going to keep putting it. I'm spamming the comments nonstop. I just put it again in there. That is the link to the STT Sports Network. Please click it, click subscribe, click the bell to turn notifications on. Watch the show there going forward. Starting next week, no more EOP YouTube page for me. It'll be just the STT Sports Network, guys. I'm going to keep spamming it all weekend long. And guess what? I'm going to do something special, extra on Sunday. I'm going to do my first ever live watch party. I'm going to sit down here in my studio. I'm going to move my TV right over here. And I'm going to live stream with all of you during the Phillies game. And you're going to see what I do when the Phillies play, how I live on every pitch. So you want to be on the YouTube page. That's the only place you're going to watch my live stream is on the YouTube page. Dotson could literally run motion for this team for misdirection, except you have Calcaterra still running it. Well, that don't make sense, Marshawn. Does it? I would be curious to see if there's a way to find out the percentage of plays Dotson ran last year with Washington, how many of them he was in motion. Because he's supposed to be a fast guy. And maybe that's a way you get him open for Jalen Hurts to find him. The fact that I have it written down here somewhere. Yeah, 5 catches on 9 targets through 4 games, 3 without A.J. Brown. It's unacceptable. When you jog in motion, it's to see who's covering your motion guy. You can adjust your routes based on that, like full post, pull and crossing under or slide. That's very technical for me. Bench him a series after a turnover. Yeah, maybe. Benching Hurts ends the season, in my opinion. If Foles still signed, he's retired now. Nick Foles. Motion tells the quarterback if the defense is in man or zone. Hurts needs to be benched in the half if he's having such a bad start, just to possibly reset him. Yeah. So when you jog and not get to your spot in a hurry, it just leaves the defense to settle their coverage. Yeah, see, Marshawn, me and you, maybe we're missing what everybody else is saying. Maybe we're not understanding what they're saying. Don't even bench him. Put Kenny Pickett in there and have Jalen running back. Yeah, that'll win ever a lot there. Kirk Cousins is great. See, I knew somebody would say it. I had to prompt you to say it, Mitchie, but prompted it. Yeah, I know. Again, there it is in the chats, guys. There's the link. Make sure you guys are clicking it. I would greatly appreciate it. Who's still calling that bubble screen? Those wide receiver, tight end bubble screens, man. They haven't worked for years, but they're still out there all the time. Live watch party. Yeah, dude, join me Sunday. I think the Phillies' first pitch is at 4:08. I'm going to go live about 3:55, 4 o'clock, and I'm going to try. I don't know if I can go for a full 3 hours or not. I might have to come up with like some kind of a graphic because I might need to refresh my beer, maybe take a little potty break, but I will stay live on YouTube for the entirety of the Phillies game 2 right here on the STT Sports Network. I'm going to. We'll talk Phillies. We'll watch the game. We'll bullshit. We'll have fun. For real, Mitchie Poo. Yeah. I mean, he played it last night. What up with the super chat button? Well, as soon as I get to 1,000 subscribers, mister, the super chat button will work. But I'm at 130 according to Mitchie Poo. So I still got to gain 870 more subscribers to get the super chat button going. That is why I've got my PayPal and Venmo account linked in the description of the video, just so you know, or on Twitter. You can find my Twitter account. There's a little tip jar on there as well. But I hope it doesn't take me too long to get to 1,000 subscribers. It could take a long time. I don't know. It's not Mitch Koff till I get to 1,000 subscribers. You are missing the point a little. Mista and I just explained what motion is used for. Quick motion and jogging used for different things. And that's where we're trying to learn, me and Marshawn, Duck. He will never not be. I know, exactly. But I promise him, if I can get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month, I'll call him Mitchkoff for him just to make him happy. It's also for misdirection and catch the defense. Phillies playoffs start on Saturday against the Mets. Phils are 0-3 against the Mets. Taijuan Walker starts 7-3 with all the other starters. He can't make the roster. I can't wait to see, Kyle, what the roster looks like when they release it later today. Phillies, are we scared of the Mets? Or are we just not confident in the Phillies? That's something I put out on Twitter, and I got a lot of mixed results. The Mets are red hot. They're also exhausted. They played a lot of baseball in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Today's their first day off in ages. So, are we scared? Or are we not confident? I think there's a big difference between the two things, Kyle. I'm just not confident. I'm not scared of the Mets. And here's another thing I want to bring up here as we get on with the show here. When we're talking about the Mets, Phillies, and we dealt with it with the Sixers and the Knicks in the playoffs. And every time the Mets play in Philadelphia, New York fans invade Philly parks and stadiums and arenas. There's this push by other media networks to not sell your tickets to Mets fans. And I get it. But they're going to find a way to get those tickets anyway. Why not try to bankrupt a Mets fan? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get the outrage. Like, you don't even know. When you put your tickets on a secondary market, you don't know who's buying them. You're trying to make money. What I did when I sold my WrestleMania tickets. Mitch coughed the franchise. No. 1,000 subscribers to become the franchise. If Walker throws even one pitch, this shit is over. If Taijuan Walker's on the roster, period. He was on the roster last year and just wasn't used. He shouldn't be on the roster at all. STT watch party gang, that's right. It's going to be Phillies watch party, but at some point I'll do an Eagles watch party too. But later on in the year. Is Phillies going to have series wrapped up and then absolutely collapse? I mean, we did have 2 games at home to win 1 game last year and we lost. So I'm scared of these red hot Mets, a team that actually plays in the city of New York. Is Flushing, wherever the stadium is that considered New York City? At least it's in the state of New York. I don't know. The Mets have a lot of fight and a lot of hustle in them right now. They kind of do resemble, vibe-wise, the 22 Phillies. They really do. Unlike their football teams. Okay. I would be worried against any playoff team if the bats go cold. Absolutely. The Phillies offense is very inconsistent. To grow your YouTube channel, are you engaging with posts from other Philly sports accounts on YouTube and Twitter? Absolutely, Tech. I do. Literally, this has been a hell of a week, Tech. Hell of a week. Bomb dropped on me Sunday night. Also, it's a very busy week for me at the shop, being that it's homecoming week in my town and all my employees are off. So the growing is happening pretty quickly, considering everything. But once I settle and my work gets settled down a little bit more, I'll be able to grow it even more and quicker. It's just been this week's been more of a kick in the nuts kind of week versus a, let's build kind of week. I'm trying to balance the gut punch along with building and being busy as hell. Being in New Jersey, New York City football teams are actually avoiding New York City and New York State. Higher taxes. Absolutely. Tech is right. I know, and I try to comment on as much. I haven't watched as much this week, but yeah. The Polar Bear crushed that ball last night for the win. Pete Alonso. Yeah, I was watching a little bit of it. Then I was flipping to the football game. Then I was flipping to episode 5 and 6 of Breaking Bad season 5. It says the Phillies will have 14 hitters and 12 pitchers. Cody Clemens has a good chance to make the roster. I think Cody Clemens has shown that he deserves it. All I know is we cannot lose to New York twice in 1 year. Man, that would be a killer. The Knicks knock us out, and then the Mets knock us out. Oh, my God, Marshawn. I think if we get past the Mets, that builds us some confidence, and then maybe we could take on the Dodgers or the Padres in the next round and actually have a chance. John, what's up? Remember how the Phillies fell apart after a week off during the All-Star break? Hope this week off isn't the same, yeah? John, you're not wrong. Not wrong at all, John. The New York Mets play in Queens, which as of this writing is still the. I didn't realize it was in Queens. My apologies. I did not leave EOP. EOP is having a restructuring, I guess is the politest way of saying it. Basically, their YouTube page and their website is going away. And they're basically cutting ties with pretty much a majority of all the people that work for them. So all the great shows on EOP, you're going to have to find the new spots for them all. Maddie B, PM in the AM, Mitchie Poo's show, all of them. Find Mitchie Poo's Hardcore Sports Network. Find Maddie B's new channel. There's a lot of channel. Everybody's got to find their own place to go now. The Attacking Third, the Union show from Stevie Fuentes and Pat, trying to convince Stevie Fuentes to do some union work for me on my channel. So there's a lot going on. A lot of moving pieces. Mitchie Poo, I know, man. I know. It's been a tough week work-wise, and then this on top of it, my mind's been a pretzel. It's been knotted like a pretzel. But you know what? All bad things result in good things. You know, you can turn a bad into a positive. And you know what it is? STT Sports Network. That's the positive. Yes, I remember this. Yeah. You know what? That may be right. That may be what it is. Ain't Mets usually not in the playoffs? The Mets normally suck. It's called Metting. Yes, Mets are having quite the season. Yeah, they've had quite the last month and a half, 2 months of the season. You follow Mitchie Poo anywhere? I mean, I wouldn't follow him anywhere, but I'd follow him to a lot of places. I love Mitch. We give him a hard time, but I love the guy. So if we're going into, you know what? Let's pretend that we have sponsors and we don't. But we'll reset. You're watching Trending in the AM on STT Sports Network. If you're watching anywhere else, I've put the link in the chat multiple times. I put the link in the description of the show. Find the STT Sports Network. Click subscribe. Share it out, please. Can everybody do me a favor and find me 3 friends to subscribe this weekend to the STT Sports Network? I love the Core 12, but if you can each do it, I'd appreciate it. It would mean the world to me. Okay? I'll put it on Facebook, on my Facebook page. I got 500 friends and family on Facebook. It shouldn't be hard. I know them to it. I put it on my Fox's Pizza Facebook page, and a few people did it. Guys, this is going to be something special. I've got ideas, but STT will be the new EOP. It'll be the new PSN. It'll be the new place you go for all your shows. Will. I'm gonna build some. I said it yesterday on Twitter. If you build it, they will come. I hope it's true. Restructuring. It's a podcast. It was a business. AOL. It was a business. Mitch everybody got let go, basically. Every single person. Frank the Tank is happy for the Mets, for his Mets. End of Philly. Yeah, basically. Oktoberfest had beer. What? I'm not really an Oktoberfest kind of guy. Where's Rick? Rick does a great beer and birds podcast, and he talks a lot of beer on his Eagles podcast. I'm not an Oktoberfest beer fan at all. All right, real quick. Let's go through some of these football games this weekend. Let's talk the rest of the NFL because there are a lot of games. We do. Phil's YouTube entertainment empire starts here. That's right. So Monday, I'm playing golf. There will be no show on Monday. Okay. Monday is a charity golf outing. If anyone's near Westchester, it's too late to sign up for the golf outing. But if anybody is near Westchester, about 5 p.m. at the Barnaby's of Westchester, the second half of the fundraiser and charity event is at Barnaby's on the second floor. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet and all-you-can-drink bar for $50. All the money raised goes to a scholarship fund for fallen police officers' children. It's a family friend of my wife's, and we help raise a lot of money. It's the 13th year I think they've done this. It's a fantastic event. Lots of great raffle items. Lots of great silent auction items always there. Plus, you can meet me. Plus, you can come hang out with me. I'll be there. I'll be playing golf, then heading over to the dinner. So the Westchester Barnaby's at 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m., something like that is when the golfers get there. Come check it out. I'd greatly appreciate it. We could talk Eagles. We could talk whatever. But please, if you got a Monday night free, come to the Barnaby's in Westchester and come say hi. I don't know what most of you look like. Come up, introduce yourself. Plus, you'll be helping raise money for a fantastic cause. I'd greatly appreciate it if you guys came. But that's why there'll be no show on Monday. I'll see. We'll do the watch party on Sunday, so I probably won't have time to pre-record something on Monday morning. So there's that. But when I'm live on this show on Tuesday morning, I would love to see 200, 300, 400 subscribers already. But it takes each and every one of you. NBA is back. Preseason starts today. The first Sixers preseason game is the 11th, I believe, Mitchie Poo. And yes, the Muck the Fets, yeah. I had another movie quote ready, Duck, but I'll save that for next week. I had to put Muck the Fets on there for today. I wanted to be the face the Mets and got what I wished for. Adam, Phillies in 6. I'm going to say Phillies in I don't know. I got to think about that. Colts versus Jags, boring. I got that as a very curious game. I got the Jets covering the 3-point spread. I'm going to go through all these in 1 second at AOL. Trey Forever, Jin Daniels, the GOAT. I don't know about that. I'm sure Phil will eventually reach out to Cherry once he gets the rest of the. Yeah, I can't get sponsors until I'm getting the viewership that EOP was getting. That's the key. Got to get viewerships and subscribers up. Then I can reach out. Adam's already asking for my cherrytickets.com, promo code. I got to reach out. I got to have the subscriber count up, the viewership up to reach out to people. I can't go to people and say, hey, sponsor my show. I got 22 people watching. Well, that ain't going to get me anything. Well, Menendez first. What the? All right, let's go over this NFL schedule. Week number 5. I already predicted Falcons covering the 1.5. That's check mark. So in week 4, I had a terrible week. I was 5-10-1. Following a 12-4 week, I went 5-10-1. So overall, against the spread this year, I'm 32-30-2. Not good. Not good at all. Got that. First game of the day on Sunday over in London with those chaps in the UK. The Jets take on the Vikings. The Vikings are 2.5-point favorites. I'm taking the Vikings to win that game. Oops, I just checkmarked it like I got it right, so I haven't written this down. Vikings. First 1 o'clock game on the schedule. Panthers go to Chicago to play the Bears. The Bears are 4-point favorites. I'm going to take the Bears in that game, cover the spread. Next game, let's say Ravens. Ravens versus Bengals. Bengals are 2.5-point dogs. Got to take the Ravens. I can't even write. Take the Ravens there. Dolphins, Pats. Pats are 1-point favorites in that game in New England. It's a pretty shitty game, to be honest with you. I'm going to take the Fins. I am. I'm going to take the Fins to beat the Patriots there. Browns versus Washington. Washington's 3-point favorites. I'm going to take the Browns to cover. Or to take. I'm going to take the Browns +3. Colts, Jags. Jags are 3-point favorites. I know it's an unpopular opinion. I think the Jags get their first win. I'll take the Jags -3. And the final 1 o'clock game, Bills versus Texans. Texans in Houston. Houston's a 1-point dog. I'm taking the Texans out right there. 1-point game. That's not hard to do, but I'm going to take the Texans there in that one. Adam, the Vikings game. We'll get to the Vikings game in a few. Where are the Vikings? Oh, yeah, gotcha. That was that game there. Eagles will get crushed by Daniels. Well, we'll see. I'm taking the Eagles to lose the bye week since those bums not practicing. I did see that, Brian. The Chargers are practicing, the Eagles are not. That's a tough one right there. That's interesting. The pump man is in the house. Yes, that is correct. I love when we call him the pump man. 4 o'clock games. You got the Raiders going to Denver to take on the Broncos. Broncos are 2.5-point favorites. I'm going to take the Broncos. Broncos are playing good defense, playing good ball. Surprisingly, but they are. Next 4 o'clock game. The Arizona Cardinals head to San Francisco. San Francisco is 7.5-point favorites. Okay? I don't get it. I think the 49ers win, but I think the Cards cover. I don't think they cover that 7.5-point spread, so I'll take the Cardinals and the points there. Green Bay Packers versus Los Angeles Rams. Rams are 3-point dogs at home. I think Green Bay wins that game, covers the 3-point spread. And the New York Giants take on the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. Seattle's a 6.5-point favorite. Seattle wins that game handily. I think Seattle might be a 10-point win this week. Fire who to the moon? You're firing me to the moon? Why would you fire me to the moon? What did I do wrong? So far, I got the Vikings covering, the Bears covering, the Ravens covering, the Fins +1, Browns +3, Jags covering, Texans +1, Broncos covering, Cards +7.5, Green Bay covering, Seattle covering. They're my main predictions. Stevie Fuentes isn't here. So, I don't know. Eagles and Phillies. What are we talking about, Eagles and Phillies? Fire them both to the moon? Why are we firing them both to the moon? Why would we do that? Why would we do that? Why? And by the way, Adam, just so you know, I had to double check because I thought so. It's a best of 5 series in the NLDS, so it can't be Phillies in 6. Just so you know. It's Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, Tuesday, Wednesday would be game 3 and 4, and then Friday would be the final game of that series if necessary. I'm going to take the Phillies in 4 to beat the Mets. Phillies in 4. They win game 1 and 2, they lose game 3, and then they wrap it up in game 4 with Ranger Suarez pitching 3 shutout innings to start the game. They are both a disappointment. I hope not. Phil needs to change up his studio for his new platform. I was thinking about that, maybe rearranging, maybe painting the wall a little bit, maybe painting this little wood paneling, something. Maybe I'll paint that green or something like that. Not Kelly green, but midnight green. Maybe. I don't know. I just got to have time, K1. I don't have time. That's the problem. Everyone's like, well, why have you not started? My man Joe Castro asked me, look, you should have been starting your own network for a long time now. And I agree. But my question is, like, I don't have the time. I'm literally working more than ever before at work that pays the bills. More Flyers and Eagles, less Phillies. Yeah, Flyers won last night. I think that was the last preseason game. Flyers season starts pretty soon here, doesn't it? I got to look that up. When is the first Flyers game? Give me a second here. I got to see that because we have to do the 11th. So we're 7 days away from the start of the Flyers season. Flyers went 4-3 in the preseason. They start the 11th. So that'll be a fun day. Wrap it up, please. Pause. Well, yeah. Always wrap it up. Phillies in 4. I agree. Phillies in 4 forever. Oh, at least you knew who that was. I've had some people ask who that was up there. Yes, that is my Jim Thomson fat. I would never lose any of the Phillies merch behind me. You notice there's a lot more Phillies merch than Eagles merch back here. I don't even know if there is any Eagles merch back there. Oh, I got the encyclopedia. Yeah, there ain't no Eagles merch other than the encyclopedia up there. That's it. You'll never lose that. Never. I got one of those at my pizza shop too. But anyway, we want green, so maybe I'll paint the wall green. I don't know. You want to come over to my house and do it for me? Because I don't got the time to do it. 76ers, the only team with promise. A lot of great stuff coming out of camp. Jarrett McCain is impressing. Joel Embiid in camp. Tyrese Maxey taking over. Everybody's putting in extra work. I really, really, really feel bad for the Sixers beat reporters having to go down to Atlantis of the Bahamas for 5 days. I mean, that's it. The only reason why I'd want to be a beat reporter is so I can go to the Bahamas to cover the Sixers training camp. I mean, that's a tough gig to do that right there. You know, cover practice and then go sit on the beach and write your article. Whew, that's tough. I hate Kelly Green. Kelly Green sucks ass. Home opener is October 19th for the Flyers versus the Canucks. Yeah, but the first game is the 11th is what it showed on the ESPN website. Really? How young are they that they don't know Tommy? It's not that they don't know. It's some people think it's hard to see that it's Tommy, and they can't tell who it is from a distance. He was Harper before Harper. The Phillies franchise turned around the day that they signed Jim Thome because it was a big contract for a team that wasn't ready, but it sent a message to the Phillies fans that this new team, this new stadium that was coming, that was being built, was going to be the turn of this franchise. And it really, truly was. Phil, we are tanking for Travis Hunter. I don't even know who Travis Hunter is. Don't know. Don't even know what sport he plays. So I don't know. I know everybody else, though, was freaking out just like me and overreacting to Max Crosby tweeting something out and putting an Eagles emoji at the end of his tweet yesterday. It turns out that Max Crosby puts an Eagles emoji at the end of all his posts, not just yesterday, but Eagles fans were freaking out about that one. Yeah, I don't own a Thome jersey. I only own one real Phillies jersey, and it's a Roy Halladay. I have a couple of jerseys. Brad Lidge, Cliff Lee, Chase Utley. I've got 2 Ryan Howard jerseys. Flyers have a tough start. Canucks, Flames, and Oilers on the road. Yeah, I haven't done enough research. I haven't on the Flyers, schedule-wise. I mean, I'm obviously all for Mitchkoff Mania running wild, but I haven't been a diehard Flyers fan or a focused Flyers fan for a few years, so it's very hard for me. It's very hard for me. I got to work on redoing my I don't picture Jim Thome as a Philly. It was a big moment in the Phillies organization, though. I don't follow college sports, man. I don't. I watch Bear. I tried. Actually, was it last Saturday? I got home from work, and before we got to that night's episodes of Breaking Bad, while my wife was feeding the dogs, I put on a college football game. I don't even remember which one it was last week, and I watched like 3 minutes of it. I'm not interested. I just went right to my phone. Kareem Hunt fantasy thought. He's the number 1 running back in Kansas City for now. Hunter is the number 2, is the 2-way cornerback wide receiver for Colorado and prime time. We're not tanking, obviously. Kyle. So he's part of the Colorado team. And that mess isn't Deion's son, the quarterback there. And isn't he like the biggest arrogant POS out there? Or at least that's what I'm hearing. Don't worry, Mitch Koff to the rescue. The real Mitch Koff, not Mitchy Poo Mitch Koff, okay? Because we're not where the subscriber count needs to be to call you that. Travis Hunter's the Shohei Ohtani of football. I don't know if anybody would ever be a 2-way player in the NFL, Brian. I don't think any team would sign or draft or pay a big-time player to play both ways. I just don't think in this day and age they would ever do that. We are not, but Jalen Hurts plays like he is tanking. Oh, my God. Do we have to? It's Friday, guys. We're almost at the weekend here. It's been a team effort. Can we just be fun and positive for the last 10 minutes of the show? Can we do something, fun? Do we have to be negative Jalen Hurts even the last 10 minutes here? Can't we just have some fun? Can't we just be positive? Let's only stick to positive things. It's the weekend. It took a team effort to get here. I am the danger. You are not any danger of any kind. Didn't even cover half the things I wanted to cover. Brought up on the Eagles check down some other things. Check the other show out on this channel. The Pump Man is providing content, Phil. You should be thanking him. He's providing negativity. They are not practicing football, rather Fortnite. Oh, yeah. Vontae, that still annoys me. Don't get me wrong, Brian. That's why I'd be benching Vontae Maddox for the rest of the season. Don't be asking the guy that just beat you on a play if you want to link up to play Fortnite later. Just sends a message to your opponents that you don't give a shit. You stink. Okay? You stink, Mitchy Poo. You stink. Plain and simple. That's all I'm going to say about that right there. That's it. Oh, boy, guys. I don't know what to say here. Phillies in 4. Win game 1, win game. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for helping this week. I can't. I'm going to put it in the comment section one more time. The link for anybody watching. There's only one person on the EOP Facebook page. There's 3 people watching on the EOP YouTube page right now. Please. And there's a couple people watching on the EOP Twitter page. Please click this link. I can't ask you enough to click the link I just put in the chat and hit subscribe, and then take that link and then ask every friend you see this weekend. You want a QR code for EOP to put on your phone, or for STT Sports Network to put on your phone? Send me a message. I'll send you a QR code, and you can walk around with the QR code and have people scan it and subscribe. I have it up all over the pizza shop, a QR code to get people to subscribe. Excuse me. Please, I'd greatly appreciate it. 500 yards is crazy after the Bucks held us to 16 points. Dude, that game last night, man, Marshawn. I mean, Kirk Cousins, for a guy that can't perform in primetime, has performed on primetime several times actually this year. Thought the AFC South or the NFC South was going to be mediocre. There's some good teams down there. Philly sports right now. Yeah. I got your positivity right here. You can't see what my hand just did. Hurts sucks. You suck. Can't trust an Italian who orders Little Caesars. Fire Nicky. Yeah. Hot and ready all the time, right? Kurt Angle themes. Oh, I know. The Kurt Angle theme song, Mitchy Poo, I love it when the crowd go, you suck. And then when he turned face and he told people, I earned the right to be called. That them to say that to me. Pinkman was great millennial character. Jesse Pinkman, man. I love it. I love him. I love the dude. I do. I watched the episode last night. It was episode 5 or 6. I watched 2 episodes. So I forget which episode it was in. It was Walt's birthday, and Jesse hands him a Rolex. friend. Happy birthday, man. It was just such an awesome moment right there. I loved it. It made me smile. I'm getting arrested just so I could call David Archerry and have him advertise. Yeah. It worked. Someday I'll reach out to David Archerry. Someday. Maybe I'll keep him on the STT Sports Network. But guys, I can't thank you all enough for helping me this week. Get this underway. Yeah, that's what I've been told. I've never done it. Never done it. But we're going to do it on Sunday, 4 o'clock. God, unless something happens with the pizza. I mean, I'm saying I'm doing it, but I'm not putting it out there until I'm 100% sure. But I'm going to try. My goal is to live stream Sunday. My goal will be to do a live stream once a week, whether it's a Sixers, Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, golf, whatever it may be. I'm going to try to do at least one live stream a week on this channel, guys. I can't get Tulsa King Season 1 because I don't have Paramount. I can't find it on any other channel to catch up. I want to watch Season 1 of it. I've seen reels of it. It looks like an entertaining show, but I need to find Season 1. Only so many TMC. I'll look randomly. Yeah. Maybe Slay and Avante are just nice and polite, just like the quarterback who likes to share the ball. What is up, Stevie Fuentes? My man. Going to be a great Phillies weekend. That's right. No Eagles to distract us. It's all Red October. It's all Phillies. I got Phillies in 4. Zach Wheeler tomorrow night. I am more confident than anything else. Zach Wheeler is going to go out there tomorrow night and go 7 innings, 1 run, strike out 10, and just straight up dominate the Mets lineup. We'll win. So I'm going to say Phillies in 4. I'm going to say Phillies game 1. I'm going to say 5-2. Phillies win game 1. Okay. Game 2, I'll predict on the live stream when I'm going to live stream it, Steve. If you're off, maybe you can join me on the live stream, Stevie, for a little bit. Tight. Yep. Stallone is perfect for that character. The reels I've seen, he looks fantastic in the role. So, yeah, we'll see. But, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up right there. I got some stuff going on, and I got to get to work here. So, guys, a successful first week launching the STT Sports Network. There's so much to come with this channel. Golf will be back around the corner. Live streams. Going to try to carve out more time to do some interviews from the pizza shop. Maybe I'll even live stream from the pizza shop at some point. But guys, it's been great. I need you all this weekend to help me. I can't ask you enough. I will give in and I will say Jalen Hurts sucks 100 times if it means we get to 1,000 subscribers. That's what we need. So I need you all to do it. I need it. Please. Have a great weekend. You too. I want everybody to have a great. It was a team effort. We got here. We got to the weekend. Like and subscribe. Yes, absolutely. And absolutely stop. I'll be working my ass off this weekend with no employees because it is homecoming weekend and SAT weekend. So pretty much every employee has the weekend requested off. They say it's pretty good. Completely recommend it. Yeah, I just got to find season 1 somewhere, not on Paramount. She loves it. She loves it. She hates the fact that I won't be getting paid anymore, but, you know, that's why I need the YouTube page to get to 1,000 so I can make some money again. That money, man. Anyway, guys, with that being said, it is Go Birds. It's more importantly, it's the ring. 13 likes not good enough, obviously. You know, there's a decent amount of people watch today. 13 likes is obviously not good enough. But anyway, guys, we got to wrap this up here. As always, it's very simply to Go Birds, but it's more than importantly, it's ring the bell. And of course, finally, it's the weekend, guys. So bubbles up to you. Oh, you know, I don't have an outro. I forgot. I almost played the old EOP outro. So we'll just play some intro music here. Or some background music here. A little rock background music. Anybody want to make me an outro video and a new intro video, hit me up on social media. I need a new intro video. I need a new outro video for everything I'm doing. So hit me up. Go Birds. Ring the bell. Just say, you pay to travel. I'll come make you. I can choose you this week. Go Birds, guys. Ring the bell and bubbles up all of you this week.